The new Superman film is absolute cinema. It is honestly amazing. It is definitely my favourite Superman film I've ever watched. However, I don't really think that's saying much because I am one of the many few people that did actually enjoy Batman vs Superman. Not because I thought it was a good film or anything. I have my other reasons for liking it. But yeah, honestly, there is so much I can talk about the new Superman film. I feel like it just makes sense for me to do a whole in-depth film review of it on my YouTube channel, especially because Superman is one of my favourite superheroes of all time, and this was one of my most anticipated films of the year. So before I say anything, I will be talking about spoilers in this film review, so if you have not watched Superman yet, save this video, come back to watch it, because you do not want to be spoiled for this. So if you've seen my Letterboxd review of this film, you would have seen that I gave it a 4.5, not a 5 out of 5. Trust me guys, I really wanted to give this a 5 out of 5, but unfortunately at the end of the day, I have been cursed with the film student curse. You know, I am a film critic. I can't just completely turn my brain off when watching a film, sadly. However, I was looking back on my notes, and honestly, the only negative things I have to say about this film is that I just wanted more certain scenes. For example, I know some people don't like the idea that there were so many different characters in this film. The only character I really wanted more of was the engineer, because, correct me if I'm wrong, Superman knocks her out. They say, oh, she's alive but she's unconscious, and then that's it. I don't believe she's shown again in the film. Maybe they did rescue her and it just completely flew across my head. But I just wanted more of her because I genuinely found her very interesting. As for some other things I wanted more of, I just wanted more of Clark Kent, really. I wanted more scenes of Clark Kent and Lois Lane, not just Superman and Lois Lane. I wanted more scenes of Clark Kent, actually at the Daily Planet as well. Because I believe there's only, 1 or 2 scenes of him actually, at the Daily Planet with the Clark Kent disguise. And this is another thing that I saw on the internet. So Clark and Jimmy are supposed to be best friends, and they only say one line to each other throughout the whole film. I just wanted more of Clark Kent, honestly. However, the scenes that we did get of Clark Kent and Lois Lane, they were really good, okay? I don't wish anything changed about that at all. I'm happy with what we got. I just wanted a tiny bit more. That is honestly it. I would have liked to see more of his parents as well. But that is honestly it. Everything else about this film was genuinely so good. Let's go back to the topic of there being too many characters. Justice Gang. I was actually very happy with what they did with the Justice Gang in the film. I'm glad it was only Mr. Terrific and Lois Lane going on that little side quest to find the portals and stuff, because I feel like if all of the Justice Gang tagged along, then it would have been too much. But it was just Mr. Terrific, and let me just say this now, Mr. Terrific absolutely stole every single scene he was in. He was really good in this film. I was not expecting him to be in this film that much, considering he was barely in any of the trailers. While we're on the topic of characters, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor absolutely stole the show. He was by far the biggest highlight of the film for me. He was my favourite character. He is Lex Luthor. He is Lex Luthor, honestly. When I first heard about the casting, for some reason in my brain, I was like, you know what? This actually makes so much sense. I can see him as Lex Luthor. And bro did not disappoint at all. And then we have David as Superman. Amazing as well. I really like the fact that he changes his voice between when he's Superman and when he's Clark Kent. It just shows how much care and thought actually went into him playing as this iconic character. And I just have so much respect for every actor and every person who just worked on this film as well. So one of the main things I want to talk about this film, when me and my dad finished watching it, one of the first things we were talking about is the fact that this film is literally the exact opposite of Man of Steel. Now, first of all, I am not hating on Zack Snyder at all. I was actually one of the people that wanted the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. I love Zack Snyder's work. I grew up with his DC films, even though he only made 2 or 3. However, we do need to talk about the differences, I feel like. As well, I'm not hating on Henry Cavill as Superman at all. His Superman is the reason why I am making my own superhero series in the first place. He is what has inspired me to make my own superhero story. I loved him as Superman. And if he came back as Superman, I know that's not going to happen, but if he ever did one day, I would be so happy because I love him as Superman. But like I said, we need to talk about the differences here. So I'm going to reference the final battle in Man of Steel. Spoilers as well for Man of Steel if you've not watched it. I'm going to reference the final battle between Superman and General Zod. So they're like punching each other through the sky, knocking down buildings, breaking through buildings, hurting loads of innocent people because, yeah, people were still in those buildings. Like, that is the whole reason why Bruce Wayne doesn't like Superman in Batman v Superman because, you know, he's a monster. He hurt innocent people while fighting General Zod. And then you have this Superman who literally saves a squirrel. Bro saves a squirrel when the kaiju's all gone loose and stuff. Like, there are loads of scenes in this film where he is just saving people, and it just makes me so happy that superhero films in general are doing this more, like actually showing superheroes saving people. Speaking of the fight scenes, this is something else I need to talk about. So loads of people on the internet are a bit upset, you know, saying, why is this Superman so weak? Why is he getting beaten up every time he fights? He has been Superman for 3 years. He has worn the suit for 3 years. Like, it is literally one of the first lines in the film. Like, the text on the screen says he's only been Superman for 3 years. I don't get why people want to watch a Superman that wins every single fight. Because in my opinion, if you just showed us a Superman, bear in mind this is the first film of a new like superhero universe in general. If you just showed me a Superman who wins every single fight, doesn't get injured or anything, that would be so boring. And like, what would the plot be of the film as well? You know, the only way I can see them making that like enjoyable would be if they did something like One Punch Man, but you can't really do that with Superman because, you know, at the end of the day, he's still learning to be a superhero. He hasn't actually like unpacked his whole potential yet. Like, I don't get why people just want to see Superman as someone really strong and winning every fight. In my opinion, that would be so boring. And I liked that we actually saw Superman like losing, not because I want to see him lose, don't get me wrong, I don't want him to lose, but it just felt more like realistic, and it actually made him more like human of a character, which is one of the key themes in the film actually. Like, I'm all for listening to people's opinions, okay? You're entitled to your own film opinion, but if you're saying this film is bad just because Superman is weak, sorry, I'm not listening to you. Speaking of weaknesses, the kryptonite poisoning scene in this film, honestly, because like when you think about Batman versus Superman, like, yeah, Batman uses kryptonite against Superman, but then literally 5 seconds later, like, bro is fine. He's fine. In this film, there's actually consequences to like kryptonite poisoning and stuff, and Superman actually has to like rest for a few days. I just really liked that because it's realistic, you know? Once again, he has only been Superman for 3 years, so it makes sense, you know? I don't think he's been like that affected with kryptonite and stuff. I just really liked that scene in general. Another thing I want to talk about that I really liked in this film before I forget, so there's loads of cameos in this film. You know, we've got Peacemaker, we've got Supergirl, and what I really love is they didn't make it a big deal. Like, let's talk about Deadpool and Wolverine for a second. Remember the scene where you see Blade and it's all slow motion walking, no one's talking or anything, because obviously that was made for audiences' reactions. And think about No Way Home as well, when Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield appear in the film, there's just silence because the film is expecting people to like clap and cheer and everything. In this film, they're so casual about it. They're just like, oh, your cousin's here. She shows up. There's no big pauses or anything. And I just really like that because they didn't make it such a big deal, because it shouldn't be a big deal. Let's be real. And that's another thing as well with this film, with the end credit scenes. People are saying, oh, the end credit scenes are so bad. There's no cameos. There's no build up. I preferred it like this. I preferred the end credit scenes to just be like little funny moments in the film. Like, I'm glad. I am so glad there was no multiverse stuff in this film and no like really big cameos and stuff. It actually just felt like a normal superhero film again. I also really liked as well that this film, this is so random, but the film opened with the exact sequence I knew the film was going to open at. Like, I remember telling people on my live stream, oh, I bet the film's going to open this way, and everyone was like, no, that's going to be like in the middle of the film. Guess who was right? Guess who was right? I'm sorry, I had to say that because I was so happy when that happened. And now there's another criticism people have of Superman being beaten by a human. He got beaten by Lex Luthor. He got beaten by a clone. He did not get beaten by Lex Luthor. He got beaten by a clone with the intelligence of Lex Luthor. Like, people are making out that Lex Luthor walked up to Superman, one punched him in the face, and then defeated him. Like, that is not what happened. I don't know why people are making it such a big deal that he's like weaker than he usually is in films, in this one. Like, I just don't get it. The whole clone like subplot as well, it's something that I wasn't expecting, but it made sense. Like, I'm happy that's what they decided to go with in the film. Like, loads of people were saying, oh, we don't know who the actual like main villain of the film is, and I'm like, well, it's Lex Luthor, isn't it? And I'm so glad he was the main villain, because honestly, Lex Luthor is probably my favorite Superman villain. I just absolutely love him. So yeah, as evidently so in this video, I think Superman is just an amazing superhero film and a great start to the new DC universe as well. Like, this wasn't an origin film, but it still was a great introduction to his character in this universe. I'm so happy with it. Honestly, James Gunn, thank you. Thank you so much for making this film. I love you. That being said though, yeah, comment down below what you thought of this film, because I would love to talk to people about this film, especially if you have some opposite thoughts to me. Comment them down below, and I will see you guys in my next video.